Welcome to Vegas Dave's Dime.
Hello everybody, Vegas Dave here. Thank you for joining me for the first episode of my series How to Handicap Horses. This episode will be focusing on how odds work. It's not the most exciting topic by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a very important one. I'm going to be doing about 10 parts in this series. I'll teach you just about everything you need to know to handicap the races, what to look for in past performances, speeds, trainers, jockeys, pretty much everything you need to know to get you on your way. And if you don't know what some of those phrases mean yet, that's okay. Some of the things I go over will be review for some of you, some of it will be brand new for others, but all of it is important, and I'll go over everything in as much detail as I can and try not to leave anything out. I will also be very active in checking the comments on these videos, so if you have any questions and something is confusing you, the way I worded something, or if I wasn't clear on a difficult concept, you can just ask me and I'll do my best to clarify that. And there's no right way to handicap. What I want to do with these videos is basically just give you a lot of information, a lot of different ways to approach the races, how I personally do it, and give you enough information that you can develop your own style and find something that works for you. Because everybody likes to put different biases on different things, and so you can develop your own style and go out there and win. But we have to start with the basics, unfortunately. And that's overall just how the odds work and how horse racing betting works. And I just want to show you a quick glance at the Tote Board. And the Tote Board tells us what the horse's odds are. Now here you see the number next to the horse's number is what that horse will pay out. 2 to 1 means you will win $2 for every $1 you bet. 7 to 1 means you will win $7 for every $1 you bet. So that number 7 or that number 2 means that number 2-1, or that's how many dollars you'll win per $1 bet. Now the minimum bet to win on a horse is $2. So if you bet $2 on a 3 to 1 horse and it wins, you'll get $8 back. You'll get your $2 times 3 for a $6 profit, plus your original $2 back. But we'll get to that in more detail in the next episode. The point I wanted to focus on here is the fact that these Tote Board numbers are constantly changing. And you may have noticed that when you go to the races, that the numbers are always fluctuating, and it's very confusing for people that are just trying to learn the game as to why the numbers are constantly moving around. And the reason for this is, horse racing is a form of paramutual betting. What this means is that we bettors are all essentially betting against each other. There's a huge computer program that's taking in all these bets from all around the world and adjusting the odds accordingly leading up to the race. The system is balancing out all the bets coming in, and then after all the bets are in, the house is going to take a cut and then pay out depending on how we bettors bet the race. And this is why the numbers are constantly changing. Now I know that's confusing, so I'll try and use an example here to make it a little clearer. I'll use simple numbers just to give you an idea. Obviously, it's a much larger scale when you're dealing with real tracks, but this is just for the sake of the math. Let's say after all the betting on a race is done, $1,000 have been wagered on different horses to win. So a bunch of people picked a bunch of different horses to win, they bet a bunch of different amounts, and $1,000 total have been bet on this race for different horses to win. After all that's done, the track takes, we'll say 20%. It varies from track to track, but again, for simple math. The track now takes 20% before the race even starts of that $1,000 wagered. So they take $200 right off the bat, and that leaves $800 to be divided among the betting public. So if the favorite wins, and 200 people bet on the favorite to win, those 200 people all make $4. Because the $800 divided by 200 bets means $4 for each bettor. If a long shot horse wins, that absolutely nobody saw coming, and only 8 people bet on it to win, each of those 8 people wins $100. Because once again, it's the $800 in the pool divided by the 8 people that hit it. Now obviously in real life you're talking about millions of dollars bet and thousands or hundreds of thousands of people hitting the winning tickets. But that's how it's determined. So as you can see, the house doesn't care who wins. They're going to get their same 20% cut regardless. They're either going to pay a lot of people a little money or a few people a lot of money. But either way, they're going to profit the same amount on every single race. And unlike sports betting, where you keep the odds you bet no matter what happens. So let's say you bet against the Colts and Peyton Manning gets injured. Now your bet against the Colts is a lot better, but nobody can take away the odds you bet. Whatever you have is set in stone. In horse racing, you get whatever odds end up after all the bets are in, because they're constantly being calculated. So you may have bet a horse at 8 to 1, bet $2 to win $16, but if lots of other people bet him too, it gets evened out, and by the time the race starts, he may have fallen to 3 to 1 before post time. So you have to be paying attention to that tote board at all times to see what the horse you bet is doing, whether it's moving up or down or staying the same. Now to make up for the fact that these horses' odds are always moving around, in horse racing, you can cancel a bet at any time. This isn't true in sports betting. Once you've made a bet in sports, I'll use the Colts analogy again. Let's say you bet on the Colts to win, Peyton Manning gets injured. You don't want this bet anymore. You go and try and cancel it, they'll tell you no can do. Once you have a bet, it's set in stone in sports betting. In horse racing, you can cancel a bet at any time prior to the post time. That's when everything goes official, no more bets are in, and the race is literally just about to start. You have to actually take advantage of this fact. Because yes, it does suck when the horse that you had and canceled ends up winning, and this is the reason why a lot of people don't cancel their bets, because they say, well, what if it wins? I'll feel bad. But you have to look at value in betting, and we'll get to that in more detail down the line. But if you've done all your handicapping, you've done all your homework, and you decide that a horse can win this race about 1 in every 4 times it's run, it's an excellent bet at 12 to 1. Because obviously if it does actually win 1 in every 4, and you're getting it at 12 to 1, you're getting excellent value. If that 12 to 1 horse falls to 2 to 1, now all of a sudden you're not getting a very good bet. Because you're betting a horse that you think can only win 1 in every 4 times, and you're only getting paid 2 to 1 on it. So I'll go over that in more detail, but that in general is just how the odds work. That's why they're always moving around. That's what Paramutual betting is, and that is how horse racing betting works. So once again, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them. I will try to respond to as many as possible. You can email me at vegasdavesdime@gmail.com. I can also be reached there and will gladly get back to any and all questions and comments you send me. And stay tuned. There will be plenty more where this came from. This one was not fun. It was more informational than anything else. Next time we will go over what types of bets you can expect to see at the races, and then after that we will get into detail on how to handicap races and actually try and pick winners. Thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned for the next one.